kind of a societal expectation, and I don't want to go into this sensitive issue, but there's probably still a societal expectation that people sort of date within their own race. I think that is much less so now than it was before. That is a societal thing. The other possibility that Julia mentioned was that maybe this person, whatever race she is, just never dates white people. If all we get is that one sentence, we have no way to get to this latter thing. There isn't enough information. If we know her personally, yeah, sure, that is possible. But if all we are given is that one thing, then we can suppose maybe it is like that. But the speaker, the writer, didn't really make it possible for us to be sure. So we typically fly on stereotypes, on things that we suppose all to know whether it's actually true or not, right?
Could it also be possible, could the type of bar have anything to do with it? So maybe her friends know the bar that she went to, and maybe at that bar,
it's mostly non-whites, right?
Different race type bar, but so it may have been a strange thing if there was a white guy at the bar to begin with, and maybe,
Yeah,
so maybe she can be white and she typically date white guys, but because
again, absolutely correct. Again, not enough information. Even if she had given us the name of the bar, can you imagine a white dude at Jake's? And maybe we're supposed to know that Jake's is only for African Americans or whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
You covered the individual defaults, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
so individual defaults, we need to be fed more information or to know that person. If we don't know, we fall back on the easy, low-hanging fruit, that is, whatever stereotypes are there.
We covered the flight to Germany. If the individual default for a person to fly business all the time, that they're not going to concentrate on that. We also gave you an example of eating fish with a knife. I went to date and he cut his fish with a knife. We would be very confused how to interpret that sentence if we knew that for both of these people it would have been okay. So if the individual defaults are not necessarily cultural, as you don't cut a fish with a knife, but for them it's okay, it is normal, and she is saying that for whatever reason, we would have a hard time figuring out just from that text what it is and why. But at least we could say there's something going on. We are going to jump through the algorithm. We are into the insider threat.
Yeah, we are we are quoting here some of the recent and high-quality scholarship on that, coming primarily from Matt Bishop, a colleague and a friend from University of California at Davis. They ran a colloquium on insider threat at Dachstuhl Castle in Germany, a traditional venue for gatherings like that. And the entire colloquium, in 2008, the entire colloquium was devoted to a definition of insider threat, and that's what you are seeing here. Out of these, can you go on? Out of these situations, we are interested in the most difficult situation. That is, no unusual behavior can be traced from the log with the software which is available. No network intrusion. The person is completely authorized to use the network in which he accesses. Moreover, he is not stealing his colleagues' secrets. So there's no unusual behavior. He logs in, he does his work, he is selling his own information. That is a situation which is extremely hard to figure out with the typical information security software, because there's no violation of any kind, no intrusion of any kind. And so we are falling back here into non-technological measures. We discovered a U.S. government-issued spying counter-espionage manual. I don't know who it is for, it's not classified. And it says, look for changes in behavior. The usual traces, changes in lifestyle. Suddenly, the person on a 150,000 government salary, if that is driving a Bulgari or manifesting some other unusual taste. In other words, the insider is stupid. We are not interested in that. We are interested in a smart insider. No trace whatsoever. All the money goes to the Swiss bank, and he lives a normal life. That's where we think our software, our technology can help.
And it is still a work in progress, so that's a caveat there. Oh, you've done that too. Okay.
So what we decided to capture in this system, which is some elements of it are implemented, all of them are sort of algorithmized. So in the normal course of development of the ontological semantic technologies that we'll tell you a little bit about in a second, we hope to cover all the elements of the system soon. The presupposition for it is a little scary. That is, what we are suggesting is observing the person's verbal output over a period of time. That is, some things that you can observe without any legal measures, like the blogs and the social network contributions, Facebook updates and stuff. Some, as per our legal system, if the person becomes a suspect, you may obtain a legal warrant and basically search warrant, and you can tap the telephone and wiretap whatever. The situation that we are trying to capture is the situation in which the person comes under suspicion and somebody wants to chat with him or her. And that is a situation in which an experienced, highly paid investigator would try to engage the person in a casual conversation and look for keys. Smart person will look for probably the same clues that we are talking about. The advantage of what we are suggesting is that the person doesn't know what is happening, so he or she is not on the alert and not in the conscious hiding mood. They're just chatting. So that's the setting in which our technology can work. And you can start with openly available sources that people just make available.
Again, we're banking on the fact that when you are not on layer alert, you're going to say something that will mean more to us than to you. You will just say it and forget about it. It's your normal thing. You don't typically want people to know what it is you are doing outside of work. So you don't emphasize it, but it sort of slips through whatever it is that you are saying, or more importantly, not saying.
Imagine a very simple situation. Somebody says, I heard you were not feeling well. And the person says, I was not feeling well. I missed golf on Wednesday. And you realize what that means, that the person should have been dying. So the person gave away to us that missing golf is something which is the last thing, that golf is important. That's perfectly innocent. But it's that kind of thing that we are looking for.
So what you're looking at this monster right here are four things. Something that the person typically says in a sentence. So my manager wants me to fly.
You have to stand behind the podium to use the mic.
Oh, and that means that...
Use the mouse as a pointer.
Thank you. That's very nice. If I'm flying business to Germany, I am saying I am flying business to Germany. If I'm flying coach to Germany, I'm saying I'm flying coach to Germany. What if I'm not saying anything? What if I'm just saying I am flying to Germany? Good luck to you figuring that out. We are looking at something else here. We know what this person is expected to do. If he is working somewhere and he's flying on a business trip, then whatever the company is willing to pay for it. So that is possibly the expectation. Something about his lifestyle. Perhaps he's not making that much, but he likes luxury and he flies typically business. That's what expected of him. Then we can probably figure out what he did this time, and it's this column right here. And
that means already investigation opened with a warrant. You need a warrant to access the airline records, for instance.
And so this is the expected behavior for the group, for the social class, for whatever, however much he is making, and this is his own preference. With that in mind, if he says, I am flying to Germany, no class specified, and we know that he usually flies coach, and this time he flew coach, we are okay. He is not hiding anything. No suspicion whatsoever. If he says that, he says nothing again, and this time he flies coach while typically he flies business, it's outside of what usually happens. Typically, because it's so unusual, you would specify it. It's not in your typical ontology, it's not in your mental space.
Yeah, when something unusual happens to us, we usually mention it, especially in blogs and Facebook updates and chats with friends. So it becomes marked, as we say in linguistics, it becomes significant if something like that doesn't happen. That's unusual behavior. Notice that it's on zero signal, that is, the class cabin is not specified at all. We already can do something about it.
It's what you see in red here. So we go through it and basically go through all the possibilities of these four columns. What you see in red here is the obvious lie. He says that he is flying one class while typically, or not typically, but in this particular situation, he flies the other. That any system can catch, provided that they know information about these four columns. Right? So this is not the interesting case. But notice that if you remove this column right here, for each case in the second, let's call it E, F, and U column, there are three cases that are identical. The only thing that differentiates them is nothing coach or business of S. Basic math, right? Permutations. All good. And notice that every time we have a different indication in this column. So again, depending on what the person says, which is not caught anywhere, it's just a conversation with a friend, we can either suggest to investigator to look deeper, or to say, well, this person is probably okay, or at least they haven't done anything for us to be suspicious about. We can